our races are officially off. So we will be catching up shortly. Anyways, Words and Gal have been on several times already, both pretty fierce competitors. So we should have a good race coming up. Power bomb launcher is a starting item. We are starting in GFS Thoth. Okay, so that's a unique one. Just put a delay on Words there so we can sync up the streams a little bit. There we are. So starting with power bombs is nice, but this start is kind of absurd. I don't think Genesis should have our next progression. It's Spring Ball, so I mean, nice to have, but yeah, we can always come back for this later with the warp to start. But we do need to get out of here. We have just enough power bombs to get out. Probably going to see both racers head right and pick up the outer item and then head all the way to the left. So two free items here. My question is, how are they going to get a refill? How are they going to get a refill to leave? Actually, no, sorry. So I believe we had, with the way the patcher works, is that if you were to go down the elevator, the power bomb blocks are gone. So I don't think we have to be concerned about our ammo. But kind of funny that it's just just right on the edge of what's possible. Just an E-tank to start off with. We like to see those early, but unfortunately, not anything that kind of points us in any specific direction. Another E-tank. Okay, lovely. That Genesis fight gets a little easier later on if we want that Spring Ball. Rather unfortunate doing all of this without Speed Booster. Makes this area very fast. So we'll see our both runners head down, and I imagine we're going to head straight to the dual alphas. With 2 E-tanks should feel pretty safe. 30 missiles is going to mean you're going to... Oh, I guess we got another set of missiles there. Help us out a little bit, because... Oh, looks like we got a DNA on Terizo Arena. Words there grabbing the hint. Getting a missile tank, getting that free refill, and a DNA. Okay, so nice. Got a few missiles, got our first DNA, even though we know that Terizo's going to be required. It's a fairly quick fight with power bombs. We'll probably see a few more bombs get picked up, and yeah, so leaving that till later. At least we know that we don't have to check that immediately. But now I gotta think that we're going to head towards Area 2. Very interesting to see Gala go down there and peek that item. I think that's actually a pretty good call. It's fairly out of the way to go see what that item is at later points in the run, especially when you get screw attack. So looks like Word's also making that call. So I like that. That's something that I'm going to start incorporating. That's a pretty unique strat there. Because yeah, once you get screw attack, you're going to be wanting to take A2 to A4, and you'll be skipping that whole section of main caves. So it kind of becomes inconvenient to check that at a later time, and you're close by coming out of the Thoth elevator. So, but interestingly, heading into Heading into A3. We do have a few things open here, but it is going to take some time to get out, or we are going to have to take a save warp, both of which are kind of slow. But all these items are in logic, so you do know that that's a DNA. Choosing to do it now is bold. Definitely not my choice, but Gala is a very skilled runner, so likely feels a little bit more comfortable than than I would here. So, oh yeah, those power bombs putting in work. I wonder if Chorizo's health scales in any way, making this fight like easier earlier on. So yeah, that next power bomb should likely spell the end. Yeah, that was a very quick fight. Very well done. And now we don't have to route this back in later, because it's kind of unfortunate. You're kind of far away from any of the pipes. And looks like Words is opted to skip it for now and go back with a few more items. Gets another power bomb tank, so will help out with that future fight. And all these power bomb tanks early are also very good for both runners, since we don't have main our morph ball bombs. We've got to be conscious about our ammunition. Both players are utilizing the warp to start feature to very quickly head back. And so Words checked Spazer, but did not check the speed booster room, I don't think. That's interesting. Figured that would be maybe doing it now. Yeah, looks like it. That's pretty much all that's going to be in logic. We've also got that one gamma. Actually, we would need a jump or spider ball to actually make it over there. So, can safely assume that it's not in logic, but it is fairly close by, so we might see one of our runners go for it. Very nice juggling there. Does not get rewarded. Yeah, really utilizing these warp to starts. Oh, and warp to save. So Gala's still in A3. And we'll see if they're opting to do the... Okay, so they're leaving. So going to head back to main caves. Words doing the same, just from the opposite direction. So it'll be... This is a perfect... They started synced, so we'll see which one's actually faster here. Both of these players move. It's really, both of them move really well. So, I gotta imagine if you're going down, it's probably faster to head through Thoth. But it looks like Gala will be slightly ahead on the way up through main caves. Yeah. Oh, 10 seconds ahead. If that. We get our very spooky surprise alpha here. Loaded on missiles. Gonna want to be starting to avoid those missile tanks now, as every one that we pick up is going to make that queen fight just a little bit longer. And 8 power bombs, that should be very comfortable for either of our runners. Likely going to see Arachnus here. 3 power bombs will quickly end this fight, so no point in really leaving this. And it's Spider Ball. Very good for helping us in some of those tricky situations that some of these climbs can be difficult depending on the layout of the map, but Spider Ball will help that. It does unfortunately give us access to a lot, which means that a lot of different paths have opened up. But as of right now, having bombs in A2, it's like we're going to want to full clear that. So both players likely going to start heading their way through the interior of A2. And then possibly making their way into Breeding Grounds 2. It won't be logical unless they find their first progressive jump. But actually, it might be logical with these trick settings. I haven't had enough chance to pour over them yet. There are some damage boosts you can do. So that is a speed upgrade in the top right of the basement there. Allows us to charge our speed booster a little bit faster. And with speed booster being so important to a lot of the movement in this game, it is very nice to pick those up. And okay, since we've got okay, I'm interested. I know it's a little bit out of the way to pick up that upgrade and not required in any way, but if it was me, I'd probably have picked up that first one. I also just I end up skidding a lot, so players at this level probably don't feel the need to pick it up as much. But with speed booster, A3, we might be seeing a trip back to A3. Using the spark to head up to this outer alpha, the speedy alpha. Okay, so we are seeing the basement play first. Will that lead into Breeding Grounds 3? Not sure. Unfortunately, going for the zip there, but did not get it. Meanwhile, on Word's side, picking up the speed booster and is going to go for that upgrade. It looks like we are going to see Breeding Grounds 2 in Gala. We do have all the necessary items with that newly acquired speed booster to full clear this. So I think that this is a good idea, even though that we're going a bit out of logic. It will. I think this is the best time to do this. We'll get ourselves another hint as well, which is, of course, a fairly core part of the routing and getting fast at this randomizer is getting those hints, knowing where your DNA are. And unfortunately, it's just a joke hint. So Gala is opting to only go for this, or is going for the West Alpha first. Unfortunately, and it looks like Words is making the same play. Okay, so is Gala going to leave those two Metroids? Okay, it doesn't look like it. So if I was Gala, I personally, the way I would like to route Burning Grounds 2 is to do these bottom ones first, and then you can do the speed booster up to then leave very nicely. Now, the only thing I could think maybe is that if this is like a save warp out, if they don't get anything. But right now, like, all these extra resources are pretty nice to keep, so if it was me, I would, I'd be looking at going back. And yeah, with that DNA, now we definitely have to keep it. So yeah, doing the bottom Metroids, then doing the West Alpha, doing the speed booster route, and then you're just right up at the save station. It routes pretty cleanly, and it looks like that's what's Words is doing on their side. So likely going to make up a little bit of time, just based on that routing decision. Now, I gotta imagine at this point, both runners are probably going to head to Area 1. Maybe check the Surface Alpha on the way. That Surface Alpha is really out of the way for one check, but it is one check. And it's always out of the way. There's not ever a good time to route it in. Down there. Oh, and our first progressive jump has been acquired. It'll be interesting to see if Gala decides to route back down for that high jump check. Yeah, that's probably what they're thinking. More PBs loaded on power bombs. My worries about managing ammo are a thing of the past. So now as we start to get some of these movement upgrades, you really get to see the shining thing about AM2R is just how movement works. It's so clean. Was thinking about going for the quick kill on Guardian there, but forgot that we do actually have to go to Golden Temple first. The trigger for that boss fight is getting the text pop-up, the environmental scan right there. Grabbing plenty of E-tanks here. We've seen in the past some folks, some of the more experienced folks who are trying to go fast with the queen fight, unfortunately have very little resources. So when you see some free power bombs, you take them. Or not power bombs, E-tanks, you take them. Progressive suit, that's a 50% damage reduction, and one step closer to gravity. And yeah, we're gonna go out of the way for those supers because hopefully we find our launcher soon, but having a stockpile ready is very nice. And yeah, I can see avoiding those regular missile tanks now. And yeah, once again, it's like, for a second detour, that'll probably save you more time in the long run. Yeah, pick up those supers. Meanwhile, on Word side, heading out into main caves again, leaving A2 after the pretty much full clear. Oh, and there's our super missile launcher. Fantastic. So yeah, gonna be very glad to have picked up all those supers. Gonna get a lot of mileage from all that. It looks like Word's going for the very cool Shine Spark method of getting this item. Seeing that it's a power bomb though, won't be trying that again. As Gala decides to go into Breeding Grounds 1. 3 checks, another hint. So my thinking with the routing here would be to finish Breeding Grounds 1, and then do Guardian and Guardian Storage, take the Surface Alpha, and then you can warp to start for Gala. And if you feel like there's a chance that Spring Ball is going to be required, it would be a good time to go back and fight Genesis. You've got supers, you've got tons of power bombs. It'd be a relatively quick fight. So that's my thinking. We also don't have anything on the way down towards if we go back through main caves. So getting to go right back to what's it called? Going back to Thoth, and then between 3 and 4, we've got it open on what we're planning on doing. Oh, that's a very interesting way of climbing that room. Jumping to the side of the block when you power bomb to be able to wall jump. I would just be using Spider, taking the very safe route. So yeah, looks like this is going to be a play for the Surface Alpha. Oh, just kidding. I'm immediately corrected. So that means that this is likely a play for A3. A3 also does, we do with the supers, we do have access to Breeding Grounds 3. So this would be a very good time to do that as well. Words there picking up their own missile launcher. So yeah, 10 supers. We are pretty stocked up for this area. It's an interesting route, deciding to do that gamma on the way out. We're looking pretty good on DNA. Only 5 more remaining. Fortunately, out of missiles, or out of supers. And it looks like Words decided to go for the warp to start. So it'll be interesting to see if they take a dip up to Genesis. Nope. Thought maybe for a second Gal was going back to refill, but doesn't look like it. Now I believe we've upped the shine sparking tricks considerably on this preset. All right, research site we have, industrial breeding grounds we've got, and bubble lair southwest. Okay. That's fine, that'll probably be one of the last ones we get. Another DNA. And it looks so Words is heading down to area 4. Both of these options are pretty good. With speed booster and high jump and power bombs, we can pretty much clear all of A4. So very well could be the anticipated way to go. But I would say that A3 is probably the best call. Very check dense area. But if we see something like screw attack pop up in area 4, that could be a very good, very good find for Words. Maiden's routing will be a lot easier, a lot more options at least. Options aren't always the best thing. There's our second progressive jump in the destroyed power plant. So a space jump that makes that'll make traversing tower a lot easier. Fortunately, looks like Words is going for. I guess I shouldn't say unfortunately yet. We don't know what the outcome is. Going for the Zetas, which are totally in logic right now, but are fairly slow checks and not very check dense. So, in a race, I like to kill the least amount of Zetas as possible. But I've also been bit by that where, you know, a key item like supers can be, well, I guess supers can't be on it anymore with the settings we currently have, but could still find screw attack or ice beam. Welcome in Abyss. Yeah, looks like we've got some divergence now at this point in the race. Starting off in Thoth, and then doing the usual A2 to A1 checks, but now Gala has opted for taking their speed booster into A3, whereas Words has decided to go to A4 and pick up space jump. So with the check density, Gala getting a little bit ahead on the DNA, but Words also does have some extra upgrades. Brewing grounds, yeah. Industrial, and mining and mines. So we've got a bubble layer and a mines. Acquired mines, we got a bubble layer. So, Word's going for the Shine Spark here. Does have space jump, so didn't need to, but that's fine. One other piece of information that we have here is Genesis is holding Spring Ball. Neither player has opted to go back for that yet. Ooh, Plasma Beam. That's nice. That's a that will definitely help the go mode feel for Queen on Word's side, because that's not always a check we see. Some of these outer Metroids in A4. The Gamma's usually more common just due to the fact that they're a little bit faster. But Word's being very thorough with cleaning up all these Zetas. No, we haven't seen anything to mention Ceres. We did have Terizo. Gala picked that up pretty early. I believe Word still has that open, so we'll have to come back to that. Okay, now Word's taking a save warp back. Oh, going to go fight Genesis now. Nope, just kidding. Not going to go fight Genesis. Spring Ball. Yeah, we could use it for a few of the speed booster checks, but the odds are probably not required. Some very fast climbing from Gala there. Yeah, the nice thing about grabbing Spring Ball as well, at least at this level of play, is like the ability to do the what's it called, the ball sparks. Definitely helps. I don't get much use out of them, but definitely for these better runners, all the movement options you can get really add up over time. So it looks like Words and Gala pretty much just traded places here. We're going to see a tower cleanup and a Breeding Grounds 3 and A3 cleanup from Words. Running out of places for Screw Attack to be and Ice, so going to likely be heading into A5 once they're done with their respective areas. I believe both runners have opted to abandon the surface alpha, so it could very well have could have had some goodies there. And yeah, no one has the ice hint. We don't have any way to get the ice hint. The surface alpha had speed both seeds. Oh, that's unlucky. So yeah, it could definitely be holding on to some pretty crucial information, but it looks like we are going to be heading into A5 for Gala. Gonna have to do everything the vanilla way, which is unfortunately rather slow. Opting not to pick the outer item at this point. I maybe would have taken the second to use space jump to take a peek. Oh, and it looks like Words is going to grab that Mines Metroid now. We also do have another Metroid down there, which could easily be either another DNA or maybe a very crucial item. And with the way Gala's routed, I'm gonna guess that they're probably leaving Mines till the close to the end. Oh my god, really getting ping-ponged there. So if this is a major on the other Metroid in Mines, it could be a very big advantage for Words. This stupid ball. Sometimes it just doesn't like to fall down. This is the most thorough I've seen folks be with Zetas. Unfortunately, just a super missile tank in that on that Alpha and Mines. So we're just gonna have to travel back up and head into A3 now. Gal was thinking about doing vanilla screw, but says, wait, Alpha Squad's right here. And absolutely nothing on Alpha Squad. That's a first. CMP ball refusing to cooperate. There we go. Ooh, very nice bounce. And nothing. Okay. So our options are now to go into distribution, the facility storage, the lower section. Got a couple more checks. Not there. on Word's side, going for the Chorizo DNA now. Now we get to see the great zips of AM2R underwater. Wave beam. Unfortunately, not really helpful in any logical scenarios. There's only, I think, one location where we actually have wave beam logic, and they've already gotten it. So. Gala heading away from Sarah's first. Gonna grab these 2 checks. Probably hoping for a gravity suit before attempting the fight. So I imagine we will see the Sarah's fight here. Grav cannot, or yeah, can't be on Ceres because it's a Spazer. Okay, so that's a soft lock. It could. I mean, it could be if we had ice, which ice could definitely be somewhere. But okay, now we know that Spazer is behind Ceres. Nice to have, but we probably won't be seeing either pick it up. Gala, unfortunately, letting go of Wave Beam as well. Starting to run out of obvious locations to check. We've still got that Surface Alpha that's just hanging out. Could be a fantastic hot dog. Checking the map, yeah. It's still there. And yeah, on Word's side, catching up in the DNA count now as they make their way through Area 3. And that looks like heading towards mines first. Going to pick up that DNA and hopefully an item, which we know is unfortunately nothing. Not going for... right, they've activated the EMPs, so... Perfect time to do those. God. If we have required EMPs, that's... I guess we can't, because we need to have... Well, I mean, we could if ice popped up, or... screw attack, but we need some way of leaving after the EMPs, which we currently do not have. What do we got? No better time to do mines than right now. Huh? What did Gala bonk on there? This is such a satisfying area with the movement involved with Speed Booster. It's a long trip into mines, but you can make it considerably faster. So I'm just noticing with that, we know that our last DNA is on the Omega in Bubble Layer. So really, we're just looking for a way to to get there. I mean, then it's go mode. So that'll be either Screw Attack or Ice Beam. But I guess we need Ice Beam anyways, so Ice Beam is skill mode. I love the commitment to skipping the surface alpha. It's right there. But I saw Gala peek in other places on the map, so. Yeah, looks like Word's heading into A5 now. Gala is heading into A2 for what? What did we not get in A2? Ah, the EMP. Literally nothing. And Gal thinking about taking the warp to last save there, maybe, but last save is here, so not really worth it. Please, someone, go check the surface alpha. Posted in the chat is a link to our weekly schedule, along with an invite to our Discord. Please feel free to join there to learn more about the weeklies, talk about AM2R, talk about Randovania. We've got also links to the main Randovania page there. It's a good place to come talk about the game, participate in weeklies. If you don't want to race, you can do things like commentate, or you can join in on multi-worlds, all sorts of stuff. So please come hang out. We'd love to see you. So this is almost the last locationing, this Surface Alpha, so... Get your lulls and etc. into chat. Oh my god, this could have been routed so nicely with that screw attack. Easily 20 minutes off the seed. We still got more to do now that we've got to go check pretty much the rest of A5 and a few other things. There's a lot of areas we can still do now. But I imagine we're going to go get that Ice Beam hint, and that'll be our focus. Yes, Jay. First Alpha was indeed screw attack. Both of these runners have decided to skip it this entire time because, First Alpha's slow. But, yeah, it's been there the whole time. They could have gotten it literally as their first progression. Go directly from Thoth, right to the first Alpha, get screw attack. And they all said, no. I choose not to do that. So yeah, going to definitely have some questions for our runners when they get into the commentator booth, because that is a really painful decision. It's a real big decision with a painful consequence, let's say. The last DNA is in Bubble Lair, so we needed some way to get there, which currently we now have with Screw Attack. And nicely, the Ice Beam hint is right on the way, so... If it says the depths, that's really nice for Gala, because that means we're pretty much done with the game. The worst thing we could see right now is A5. It's in the depths. Perfect. So yeah, that is pretty much that. It's going to take some big blunders from Gala to lose this advantage right now, as Words makes their way through lower A5, which we know there's some lovely beams down here that we would like, but not the one that we actually want, which is Ice Beam. And that is our last DNA. Just gotta go find that Ice Beam. Now I gotta imagine you do the top, yeah. You do the two upper Omegas. The lower, what's it called? The search and, I can't remember what that name of that area is called now. The one with the Alpha and the Omega. Technically has higher check density, but I don't think it's worth going out of your way, because if Ice Beam had turned up here, that is some distance you have to travel, so I think going for these upper Omegas is the correct play here. Unfortunate. Nice hole in one there. So we are going to be heading back down towards those two. I don't think there's anywhere else in the depths. The only... Because I believe that Street and whatever the other ones are technically in main caves still. So I think there's only 3 more locations we can check. Literally nothing. Very good. Ice beam. There we go. Time to get out of here. And we have quite the loadout for Queen at this point. Plenty of supers. We've got plasma beam. It'll be a fairly quick fight. Enough E, Varia. Be no worries. Oh yeah, one thing to point out about these settings is we've got the soft lock preventions are removed, so you do have to be careful. I mean, some of these locations like Screw Attack, you do need Screw to leave. It helps close the map a little bit more, but it also adds a few more point of no returns that can be a little troublesome to route around. So it's fairly new in our settings, so we'll see how it plays out. But both these runners very familiar with the game. They'll know where they're going to get stuck. And here we have it. Heading into labs. Just kidding. Not heading into labs. Oh, there we go. Now we don't have bombs, so going to have to be careful of these infinite Metroids. That being said, after many times through this area, both of these runners should have no problems with memorizing where these few Metroids are. And there we go. So that is a death. Yeah, that long hallway can be a pain because trying to jump around them and or just landing on the spikes can toss you around and really mess up your aim. Not having Spazer makes this a little bit more difficult since our shot's not that wide. But Gala's got a pretty good lead right now, so it does have a couple of attempts, but each one of those is going to cost, a minute or so. So does give Words some time. Unfortunately, still hasn't gone for that Surface Alpha yet, so is going to be still looking for that Screw Attack. There we go. That's all the Infinite Metroid's done. Unfortunately, not getting the shot off for the Spark, but not missing much. Just laying into the queen with those supers. Last main room here. Unfortunately, did not conserve a lot of ammo here, but with plasma is able to farm up. And there we go. Fight practically over. There we are. Now we get to hear the nice, relaxing music. And it looks like Words is going to go pick up their spring ball. But we are closing in on the finish here, and likely going to see a sub 110. Well, definitely going to see sub 110. Shouldn't take 2 minutes to get out of here. If not, then the baby is trolling. But yeah, it'll be interesting to hear what runners think they could have gotten if they would have just picked up that Surface Alpha earlier. Because, I mean, we had speed and supers from a very early point. Like, a lot of our majors showed up in quick succession. So I'm imagining if the screw attack would have appeared, you know, in the first, I don't know, less than 20 minutes, this seed could have been completed probably towards like the 40 to 50 minute marker. But with that, that is time for Gala. Get your GGs in. And it looks like Words is probably on their way to that Surface Alpha. And then we've got Gala joining us momentarily for an interview. Gala, welcome in.
Hi.
GG's.
Thanks.
So I can tell by the sound in your voice, one of your choices you may be not so happy with.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we can see on Word's side also made the exact same decision of leaving that Surface Alpha to last, which unfortunately had our screw attack. Could have been gotten as our very first progression. Instead,
Yeah.
last location.
Surface Alpha always have an item. But
Yeah,
I was really thinking that through attack was like deep in the logic and not like
the very first thing. Yeah,
yeah.
definitely. Definitely was it was getting pretty dicey there to just towards the end as like the amount of locations and like having to check the map to remember that it's like you really were getting down to those last few items and we don't see that all the time with AM2R in that like we're basically full clearing the game. So
Yeah.
uh, that being said, yeah, we did have a lot of major items fairly early on. I'm curious to know, like, what do you think the time could have been if maybe you had picked up Screw Attack and like towards like the 10-15 minute mark? It's like
Oh,
if even that. It's like I'm imagining it probably towards like the 40s 50s range would have been probably doable, I'd imagine.
okay, so we spawn. What do we spawn at? Okay, GFS with a lot of health. What was the first major item? Speed?
Yeah, speed appeared pretty quickly. That one was in A2. Yeah, I mean, like, I really agree with like the routing decisions of like A2 into A1. That's pretty
Yeah.
standard for um, how these seeds go, especially starting with power bombs means that A2 is just a really wise decision. Um, One of the points where you two branched off was that you took the speed booster directly into A3, whereas Words went for A4 first. So you both
Oh.
ended up doing the same thing, but it was an interesting choice. I mean, you did have supers, so getting through some of the Metroids would be quick, and finding the space jump meant that full clearing that area was pretty safe. But I agreed with your routing more of heading directly to A3. It's just a very dense area for items, so picked up a lot of DNA there, but I don't think there were any majors in A3.
Um, Only a DNA,
Yeah,
but no
yeah, there's
major. But yeah, it's a difficult choice because you can go to A4 and be like, okay, if Screw is at A3, I'm in trouble. Like, I can go to distribution center, do the EMP activation, and maybe be locked in distribution center, then come back to A3 and then get screwed. So I was like playing safe when I cleared A3. But yeah, speed first major, supers was at A1 and screw at surface. So you basically get all the important items like maybe, I don't know, 15 minutes.
Yeah,
And then you can take the shortcuts to rush your DNA, and that's all. But I was really hoping for ice or screw attack on an EMP1.
yeah, we saw you check those, and
Yeah.
the only thing that I could think of was that you needed Screw or Ice to have gotten the EMP and get out, because when you go into A5, you're technically soft locked unless you have one of those items.
Yeah. Also, in logic, Like you're not.
Expected to warp to start.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it'll.
Ah,
It's
my God, okay.
it's a nice to have, but you're never expected to do it by the logic. Else,
Oh.
it sounds like a nice option, but unfortunately, it adds a lot of point of no returns where you could just be expected to, go down a really long path, trap yourself, and then warp to start, which can be annoying. So it's never been in logic for any of the Randovania games.
Okay.
And with the ice beam hint being in depths, I'm imagining that was a pretty happy sight, since only a few options for where that can be, and you've already got to go down there.
Yeah, but basically, without the last EMP puzzle, I probably check all the checks in logic. So yeah, I was that was through or ice, and if not ice, ice was in depths. I mean, there is a world where we get gravity, and
Yeah, did we see where that second progressive suit was?
no, I didn't. Just saw that bombs was in depths too,
Mm-hmm.
behind the at the lava pool. So gravity required. But yeah, for now I will check Surface Alpha every time.
Yeah, and now that you started doing that, it will never be anything
Yeah.
ever again. But yeah,
I should have checked it. Like with the speed booster, it's not like very out of the way.
Yeah, my thinking was that after doing the A1 checks, take the Surface Alpha and then maybe a warp to start, because there's not really anything down main caves that you had to go back for, and that would have placed you either at A3 or A4 coming out of Thoth, and so you could have done either route. And you could have also picked up. Was there any reason you didn't pick up Spring Ball? It's definitely something, a nice movement item to have, especially at the higher levels, like yourself in Words, with all the speed booster tech. Just slow to fight Genesis.
Where was Spring?
On Genesis.
Oh, I totally forgot that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it was both of you peaked at first, and of course, only having
yeah.
2 power bombs to start, not really gonna do that fight.
Yeah, I should clearly get it, but I totally forgot. But yeah, if I remember correctly, I did like A1 to clean up, then started to like Guardian, then main caves. At this point, I should have done the Surface Alpha.
Yeah, that was I believe that was my commentary at that point too. But seeing you head down, it was. I know that there are a few people that do make the gamble. It's just
I was
really
like, nah, not the Surface Alpha again.
Yeah, Biss was commenting in chat earlier that you guys have been doing some practice and had speed booster on Surface Alpha a few times.
Yeah, I got a lot of bad seeds.
So with that, Words has entered Go mode. Looking at a very similar loadout to yourself. No bombs meant pretty had to be a little bit more careful in labs. You did take one death there. Was that at any point were you feeling like nervous that that may have like cost you, or?
When I saw that world didn't finish, I was like, okay, probably do the same mistake as me with the Surface Alpha. But yet, I was like, okay, I have to be quick because I literally cleared the seat, so...
Yeah, it's like, yeah, Words could definitely be like right behind you at any point there, so definitely get the urgency.
So yeah, at the end I was looking very often at the map because I was like, okay, maybe I forgot an item, like something. Good thing that we have a plasma.
Yes, definitely.
Because the Wave and Spacer was in distribution center behind. I mean, Wave was at Dual Gammas and Spacer at Ceres.
Yeah, definitely weren't going back for those. It's unfortunate, yeah, seeing those. It's like too nice to have beams, and
yeah,
it's like, yep, nope. That is definitely not worth my time. Oh, the very same Infinite Metroid got gets Words. Yeah, that's the other thing. Without Spacer, makes these that long corridor can be pretty dangerous, just because the way that the Metroids are kind of circling around you. It's like you've got a pretty narrow shot to hit. So the rest of the rooms are, you know, fairly safe. You can really take your time and aim, but it's like having to balance being in midair can be troublesome.
Sometimes they dodge a little, so.
Same bonk on the door. Any thoughts on the alternate preset? I know we've only done, I think this is like, what, the second one? Second or third one, maybe?
Overall, I think it's like with the seeds that I've done this week, it's really hard. Or maybe the seed was like not nice, but the logic maybe a bit more hard.
Yeah, I know there's a few of the tricks are bumped up, like shine sparking. We can now, there's a chance that all the areas are now accessible as of before on our usual standard settings. Things like the parkour course and the lower A5 Shine Spark weren't in logic. So there's a few things that have opened up from that, as well as I think wall jumps and a few others have been bumped up. So definitely a few more options of having your progression a little bit later. But start was pretty nice.
Yeah.
You know, starting with power bombs, starting with any bombs is nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like we've got a standard next week and then a variety after that, which I believe is our door lock rando. So
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see folks turning up for that.
But yeah, it's interesting because some room are available in settings, like the I don't know, the super power bombs, speed booster in A3.
Yeah.
Within Logic. And I was in the scene, I was like, oh, yeah, this one is in Logic, maybe square attack is right there. And when you have the combo speed and gravity in standards one, you are like, okay, distribution center is not in logic, even if I have the two items. But in these settings, it's interesting that you can have some items in behind speed booster and gravity.
Yeah, I'm glad that there's these settings that introduce all of the areas in the game back to the pool. Gotta, knock off the cobwebs in some of those rooms. Haven't a lot of people not seen them during they just participate in the weeklies.
And yeah, it's not often that the item go mode was screw. It's more like supers and speed. So the logic to search screw or ice was okay.
Yeah, it's because usually we find during the races that it's usually when are you comfortable fighting Queen that is your cue to finish the game, but it's like you were both very prepared, and yet it's like no way to get there, unfortunately. So GG's to words.
GG.
Get them in for some commentary soon enough. Bombs and Drivel Drive, and let's see where that other progressive suit was. It was in Gravity Chamber. Oh man.
Oh.
A vanilla suit.
Yeah, having bombs like super deep in the logic maybe force the game logic to give plasma.
Yeah, I'm not sure because we usually that was a fairly early plasma. Just sending on a gamma, we usually see that in like bubble layer. That's usually the spot for it. What was I gonna say? So yeah, that was one location I guess you hadn't. Well, I guess you couldn't check because you didn't have screw attack. So you would have had to get screw attack and then go back into A5 for gravity. Yeah.
Yeah, and then go for bombs.
Yeah, that wasn't gonna happen. Words there. Welcome in. GG's.
Thank you. That was something.
Yep. Don't worry though, you aren't alone. Gala
Mhm.
made the exact same routing decision that you made, and
Yep.
it played out the exact same way. Yep.
Yep. That seed was like really good, except for where Screw Attack was. I feel like
Yeah.
that's just like whoever gets Screw Attack first wins that race, and no matter who's racing that one, I feel like that's just how that one works out because it's so out of the way and it speeds up so many things. It's just like, yep, you're basically full clearing until you get Screw Attack, and then it's go mode.
Yeah, which is exactly what Gala did. I don't think there was any checks left in
Yeah,
Gala's game or
Literally,
yours.
she cleared the speed.
Yep.
Yeah,
I
and
even grabbed Spring Ball from Genesis because I'm like, what if it wants me to do the puzzle in Golden Temple? Because I'd already done the orbs, unlocked those, and I had
now,
everything else but Spring Ball.
So the thing that I was mentioning to Gala that I'll bring up now again is Randovania does not expect you to warp to start for any logical implications. So going into A5 and activating the orbs, you would then have to leave some way, which means that you either need Screw Attack or Ice Beam.
Oh, okay. So basically, without Screw Attack or Ice Beam, distribution is always dead end checks then.
Yep, it is
Okay.
one big point of no
Logically.
return. Yeah.
Gotcha. That makes sense now. I'll keep that in mind. That explains why I almost never have any checks that involve distribution, like the orbs and stuff. This is like going in and then coming back out, and that like narrows the item pool of what you logically could have and still need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But to be fair, you could have got Screw Attack at any time and then
Yep.
had done the orbs anyways. But because
Yep.
yeah, it's like it could have very well been your first progression that you got. You could have went straight from Thoth directly to that alpha, got Screw Attack.
Yep. Like
Would've been a
it
really
was a
weird
sphere
route,
zero
but-
check.
Yep.
Feels bad.
Any thoughts on since this is still one of the first alternate settings, any thoughts on, the tricks have been bumped up a little bit. It's not always as obvious in AM2R where the tricks are kind of bumped, but, random start wasn't too bad. You were afforded the luxury of starting with a type of bombs, so I mean that helps speed things up quite a bit.
Yeah, I've done a lot of those, a lot of seeds with the settings in practice, and like it seems like it gives you bombs or power bombs early a lot just because of the starting location. Sometimes you just need them to get out. But yeah, the trick difficulty again, it's like it's hard to notice, but there's definitely some instances where it's like, oh, I haven't seen an item here very often in the standard settings, but now it seems to be showing up here a lot more. So it's like it's a subtle difference, but it definitely is a difference. And yeah, I really like the random start because it's like it makes you have to rethink a lot of your routing just because like warp to start isn't always the same place anymore. So you have to think a lot more carefully about where you're saving and like what items you're going for or leaving behind because you can come back for them quickly or whatever. So a lot of that, I enjoy how that goes.
Awesome. Okay, Gala, words, any final thoughts before we wrap up here?
Always check your surface alpha.
Honestly, yeah. It's so far out of the way, but when it's something important, it really sucks.
All right, thank you very much. GG's once again. And for all those tuning in, we will see you next mission.
Bye!